guys, Jay here. Welcome to Models Memories Weekly, episode 86. Models Memories is a show about nothing and is filmed in front of a live studio audience. This is a show where I talk about my painting, modeling, and wargaming experiences from the week. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Jay, you put out 3 YouTube videos a week. How could I possibly have more to say? Well, I do, and here goes. This week, I think there's only one thing to talk about. The most important, exciting thing of the year, the Games Workshop Christmas Battleforces. Yes, it's that time again. It is clearly a few days from Christmas, or like a month and Games Workshop has shown off all of the shiny new boxes. And actually, in a little bit of a departure from the norm, usually there's about 6 Battleforces. This year, there are 8. And 2 of them, they're not different, but they feel different. Last year's Christmas boxes were for the Space Marines, Adeptus Sororitas, Adeptus Mechanicus, Death Guard, Necrons, and Orcs. And all of those boxes came in at $210, which was a tiny bit of a price rise from the year before. In 2020, half of the boxes were $200 even, and half the boxes were $210. I think I speculated way back then that Games Workshop was maybe testing the water to see if consumers would be willing to cross the $200 threshold. But yeah, it'll be interesting. We don't actually have any confirmed prices for any of these boxes. Will Games Workshop be nice to us and keep them at $210, or will they start to maybe bump those numbers up a little bit? Because we all know Games Workshop. I think most of these new boxes are pretty great. What is interesting is in the picture where they show off all of the box art for these new boxes. 6 of them are completely standard photos of the models on some sort of a colored background. But the 2 Space Marine boxes actually have like uniquely created box art, which is interesting for the Battleforces. I mean, it makes them stand out as something separate, and you'd always assume that if they have special fancy box art, that box art is meant to like catch the eye when it's sitting on store shelves. But these aren't really gonna sit on store shelves. They're gonna show up, get bought out, and be gone forever. So why did Games Workshop make the Space Marine boxes look a little bit prettier? It's kind of interesting. It'd be cool if like the Space Marine Battleforces were kind of meant to just be a normal product you can buy. Although it would be weird because there's already 6 Space Marine Combat Patrols, which is kind of the start collecting box for the Space Marines. So it'd be weird if there's 2 boxes that are $150 that come with a decent amount of Space Marine units, or there's like a $210 box that are peppered around friendly local game stores that you can also pick up. It's a little weird. I wonder why Games Workshop did it that way. Maybe those products were meant to come out either earlier or later for a different reason, but they were just added into the Christmas Battleforces. It's very bizarre. But taking a look at the boxes, starting off with the Adeptus Sororitas Sanctorum Guard. And this box I absolutely adore this box, but I can see a lot of people not liking it very much because it comes with 2 squads of the Paragon Warsuits. One of my favorite models. I absolutely love the Nundum, the Mecha Nun robot suit, but a lot of people really don't like it. They like Star Wars don't like it. Like, they're mad that it exists, but I really like it. This also sets a trend for some of these boxes where they seem to be built around kind of being added to people who already have a collection of these miniatures, and basically just giving you a whole new playstyle for your army, like in one go. This box comes with Morvenval, Abyss Sanctorum of the Adeptus Sororitas, which is the new High Lord of Terra, who is also inside of a Paragon Warsuit. A box of Celestian Sacrosaints, a box of Battle Sisters, and two Paragon Warsuits. So this box is clearly for those people who haven't picked up the Paragon Warsuit yet, but they were thinking about it. They were like, it'd be really cool to have a more mechanized list for the Sisters of Battle. And so with this one box, you can all of a sudden add that to your force. It's a little lame that this box comes with the Battle Sister squad and the Celestian Sacrosaints, because everybody already has those in their Sisters of Battle army. I suppose if you were planning on starting a Sisters of Battle army, it's very good to get those units, but it's a lot of overlap with just the most popular kits in the range. So I think it's a really good box. And if you like the Paragon Warsuits a lot, like I do, I think it's a fantastic box. It's a little different than last year's Sisters of Battle box, which came with 2 vehicles, the 2 most expensive kits, the regular old Rhino and the Missile Launcher Pipe Organ Sister of Battle tank. But I think this box is better just because you get physically more models. And I think what makes a really good Christmas Battleforce box isn't necessarily like the unit composition or how good it is in game or how many points it comes with, but just the variety of models. Because I imagine, you know, you opened your Christmas Battle Force that you bought for yourself, and you want the most enjoyable plastic in that box. You want different types of units, different sizes of units. You want to really be able to pick and choose what you're going to be spending your Christmas Eve on. I guess not Christmas Eve, Christmas afternoon on. Although let's be real, you opened the box on Christmas Eve. Adding up what would have cost to put this together, but buying all the kits separately from Games Workshop, the total comes out to $320, which, if they sell it for $210, is pretty darn good. If they sell it for more than that, it's still probably okay, an okay value. Value as far as Games Workshop goes, but I like it, I think it's a good box. Next up, we have the Adeptus Custodes Watchers of the Gate. This box comes with Captain General Trajan Valores, a squad of Bertus Praetors, a squad of Aurelius Custodes, and some custodian guards, specifically 3 boxes of custodian guards, which is fine. I think this box is good. The Custodes don't have very many units at all, so it's hard to like make a bad box because there's like 7 different models for the Adeptus Custodes, so the box is going to contain some variety of those models. It's a little bit lame that there's a lot of overlap with this box and the Start Collecting, or the Comet Patrol Adeptus Custodes, because that also comes with the bikes and the normal custodians. I would have liked to see at least 1 squad of custodian wardens just for variety, so you have more different types of units. Although, you know, Custodes players, let me know in the comments below, is it the move to absolutely spam the standard custodian guard squad? Like, is that the move and you wouldn't actually want some custodian wardens? I don't really know. Also, similarly to the Sisters of Battle box, and most, if not all, of these boxes, we actually have a unique Warhammer 40,000 character in the Captain General Trajan Valores. And then we also had Morven Val, and all of these are kind of built around an actual hero from the world of Warhammer 40,000, which is interesting. I wonder, like, it's like a theme that they're going with. Like, these are boxes that exist inside of the lore of Warhammer 40,000, and I think it's an interesting gimmick. Adding up the cost of all of these kits purchased separately from Games Workshop, I would add up to $337, which is pretty good, a little bit better than the Sisters of Battle box. And I like it. I really like the Allurus Terminators. They're Custodes, but they're Terminators. I really like them. And if I wanted to get into a Adeptus Custodes army, well, I would definitely buy the Comet Patrol because it comes with the 10 Sisters of Silence, which I really want for Kill Team. In Kill Team, the Custodes are great. You can bring 4 regular Custodian Guard, but you can also bring up to 10 Sisters of Silence. So I think I would actually get the Combat Patrol Adeptus Custodes so that I could put together those 2 kill teams. Forget 40k, Kill Team is the better game anyway. After the Adeptus Custodes, we have the Adeptus Mechanicus Elimination Maniple. This comes with Belisarius Call, keeping with the actual named heroes from Warhammer 40,000. You get Belisarius Call, some Cataphren Destroyers, 2 boxes of 3 Cataphren Destroyers each, a set of Castellan robots, and some Skitarii Vanguard, or Skitarii Rangers. They both come in the same box, and you can build them either way. This box, I think this box kind of stinks. Like, it's fine. It comes with nice models from the Adeptus Mechanicus, but man, it's just so lame. I think the biggest problem is the 2 sets of Cataphren Destroyers, which Cataphren Destroyers also come in the Comet Patrol for Adeptus Mechanicus. So if you really want to spam the Cataphren Destroyers, I suppose this is a good way to do it. I also think it's lame that it only comes with, I guess it comes with 5 units. No, it only comes with 4 because they doubled up on the Cataphren Destroyers. So when you're, you know, after you've watched your children and your nieces and nephews and your wife open all of their dumb gifts and you're ready to go hard on your new Christmas Battle Force, you've only got 4 things to pick from. And that's not as much fun. Last year's Adeptus Mechanicus box rocked. It was so good. It came with the Cerberus Raiders, the Sidonian Dragoon, the Praxi Skystalkers, Sicaran Infiltrators, and the generic HQ guy. Oh, and a box of Skitarii. Like, you got so many different things. Like, you were sitting there and you had to decide, ooh, do I want to build Robo Ninjas? Do I want to build Cowboys? Do I want to build Mecha Bats with flamethrowers? I just think a little sprinkling of a lot of different and very different types of units is a lot more fun than the box that we got this year. I mean, Belisarius Call, real cool. If you haven't read Call of the Great Works, it's a really, really fun Black Library novel. And I do love the robots, the Castellan robots. They're really, really fun. They have like a real 50s sci-fi thing going on. But other than that, I mean, I guess it's like contractually obligated to come with a pack of Skitarii, but man, those Cataphrone Destroyers, they're just whatever. Maybe it's just because I don't love those models that much, but it's fine. I guess it's fine, but I didn't know what we had until it's gone, because last year's Adeptus Mechanicus Battle Force was beautiful. If I wanted to start Adeptus Mechanicus army, that's how I would want to start it. Just getting a tasting platter of everything for the old robot boys. Next up was a box that I wasn't really expecting, but the Imperial Knight Chainbreaker Lance. This box comes with one Knight Preceptor, which is also all of the other Knights because they all come in the same box, and 2 boxes of Armiger Helvrins, which are somehow $85 for 2. That's really, really expensive. And they're not massively bigger than a normal like Games Workshop kind of medium to large vehicle. Like the Sidonian Dragoon for the Adeptus Mechanicus is about the same size, maybe a little like skinnier, but I feel like the price of the Helvrins is just really high because they're in the same army as the Knights, and the Knights are really, really expensive. So if you add up all of the cost of buying all of the stuff separately from Games Workshop, it would come out to $340, which is the most we've seen so far, probably because the Knights are some of the most expensive things you can buy from Games Workshop, but I think that this is a decent box. It's a lot of plastic, it's a lot of models. I've built 2 Imperial Knights, and they are a project. Holy moly, there are hundreds of parts, and they're huge, monstrous. If you're gonna do an Imperial Knight, you're gonna do magnetization and like posing the arms exactly how you want it. It's a project to put together an Imperial Knight, and probably the Helvrins too. I think actually this box would be nice if you already own a Knight like I do, and so you just get one more, that's 3/4 of your army right there, and then the Helvrins filling in the gaps. It's a really good way to basically just have an Imperial Knight army, which I think out of the different armies in Warhammer 40,000, Imperial Knights are one that really interests me because it's like such an immediate departure from the standard playstyle of Warhammer 40,000 armies, because you don't have troops, you don't have like cheap scoring infantry, you don't have like snipers in the backfield or heavy guns to shoot from a distance. You're just a couple of giants, and that's what you got for that game. Your turns go quick, and it's I think it's really, really fun. I would love to play against some Imperial Knights. And they're really great if you want to loan something out to a newbie. Like, especially like if you and a friend are already playing Warhammer, but you have another friend who would really like to like dip their toe into it, just let them play with you and give them 1 Imperial Knight. Keeps things nice and simple. They only have 1 data sheet to read. They have some good guns that can do a lot of damage. Just let them stomp around the board while you and your opponent actually try to play a game of Warhammer 40,000. And then it'll lead to like beautiful moments like, oh, I was just about to get into your back line and take that backfield objective, but then a giant robot walked in my way. I think that the Imperial Knights are wonderful. And this box, it's good. I think there's nothing particularly wrong with it. It's fine. I don't know why I sound down on this box. It's a perfectly good box if you like Imperial Knights. After the Imperial Knights, we have the Death Guard Council of the Death Lord. I'm gonna buy this box. I haven't bought a box, a Christmas Battle Force since 2014. When I was getting into Necrons, I got the Necron Christmas Battle Force. And oh, what a Battle Force it was. It was lovely. It came with so much stuff. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna buy this box. It comes with Mortarion, Demon Primarch of Nurgle, some Blight Lord Terminators, and 2 squads of Plague Marines, which is actually only 14 bodies because only 7 Plague Marines come in each box. That's $60. I will never understand. Games Workshop was being very cute when they put 7 Plague Marines in a box instead of 10 like it should be, because you can take a squad of up to 10 in the game, but It's fine, I'll allow it. But this box is great. I mean, I need Mortarion. I have a very fledgling Death Guard army. It's actually one of my favorite armies in terms of paint job. I love my paint scheme, and even though it takes forever to actually paint it that way, because I do like a weird tie-dye scheme using green, yellow, and orange, it really, really works. And I would love to see Mortarion painted up in that scheme. I don't know if I'll love painting him up in that scheme because Mortarion is a massive miniature, but I want to have him. I want to have him for my Death Guard. So I think this is a perfect opportunity to pick him up and a whole bunch of other Death Guard stuff that I need, like the Terminators and the basic troops. So this box is definitely gonna be a get. Adding up the cost, if you purchased all of these kits separately from Games Workshop, the total would come out to $330, which is pretty good, on the upper end of some of the boxes we've looked at. I think this is a great box. I think this box would actually go well for anybody who has a Death Guard army as long as you don't already have Mortarion, because there's no point at all to having extra Mortarions. Like, even for kit bashing potential, he's so monstrously big. Like, you can't just take the wings off and then he's like a demon prince. He's almost too big for that. But I think this box is excellent and I can't wait to pick up a copy. Similarly to the Death Guard box, we have the Thousand Sons Court of the Crimson King, and this box mirrors the Death Guard box. This box comes with Magnus the Red, the set of 3 Exalted Sorcerers, and 2 squads of Rubric Marines, so literally the same loadout. The only difference really is the Exalted Sorcerers instead of the Terminators, but the Exalted Sorcerers, I mean, they don't fulfill a similar role, but they're a similar type of elite unit, so it's literally a mirror of the other Chaos box we've seen. You actually get 20 Rubric Marines because Rubric Marines actually come in the appropriate number of miniatures per box. And of course you get the monstrously large Magnus the Red, which is a very, very cool model with nipple horns. Always glue on the nipple horns. You gotta. How often do you get to paint nipple horns? Answer below in the comments. Adding up the cost, if you purchased all of these kits separately from Games Workshop, it would come out to $340, which is high. It's on the upper end. It's right up there with that Imperial Knight box. I guess the Exalted Sorcerers must be more expensive than the regular Terminators. Yeah, the Exalted Sorcerers cost more money than the Death Guard Terminators. But yeah, this box is really, really cool. I would assume it would work just like the Death Guard box. If you don't have Magnus the Red, this might be the perfect opportunity to get him and to bolster your number of Rubric Marines, because the Thousand Sons, they have like an Egyptian kind of mummy thing going on, so I feel like actually spamming lots and lots of Rubric Marines is kind of the way to go. And now we come to the 2 Space Marine boxes, and I think one of these is super, super solid, and one of them, we'll get to that other one. So we've got the Imperial Fists Bastion Strike Force. This comes with 3 squads of Heavy Intercessors, a squad of Primaris Aggressors, and Torgaridon. I think Tor looks kind of funny, but he's a cool model. He's kind of got the face of the general from Toy Soldiers, Toy Story, Soldier Toys, Soldier Boys. There is a movie, Small Soldiers. The movie Small Soldiers. The general in that movie, he has the face of Torgaridon. Like literally, the Games Workshop sculptors were having a really fun time and they recreated his face on the miniature. But I think that this box is great. Asterisk. Adding up the cost of all of these units separately, it comes out to $292, which is the worst value we've seen out of any of these boxes. But I think what makes this box really, really shine is if you have a Space Marine army, purchasing this box instantly gives you an entire new play style for that army, because I really like the Heavy Intercessors with their, like, I can't believe it's not a heavy bolter bolt guns. And they're just better save and better toughness. But the price tag of $65 per 5 guys, I think kept a lot of people away from that. But just having like the dream of adding just a gun line to your Space Marine army, that just mid-range, just standing there dumping bolter rounds into the enemy, like it's feel like it's really tempting to like build around that. And so just being able to plump that entire strategy right into your Space Marine army is really, really interesting. I play Black Templar, so in theory, this box shouldn't appeal to me at all because I always want to be in close combat with power swords and chain swords. But I could maybe see opening up a gun wing to my Black Templar Crusade. Also, Torgaradon is an excellent miniature for conversion. It is super simple to just do some arm swaps to turn him into any generic Primaris Gravis captain. Really, really easy kit bash. I've seen lots of people do it online and it always looks great. Honestly, I feel like Torgaradon himself doesn't look that good, but I've seen like Crimson Fist players, Black Templar players, even Salamanders players do some really interesting stuff with that model because he has kind of weird proportions. I think the actual Power Fist he comes with just looks weird because Primaris Marines actually have correct proportions. And so the weird dopey Power Fist always looked fine on the old squatty Firstborn Marines. But when you actually have a proportional human body and then a fist the size of that proportional torso body, it looks really, really silly. But you replace that with a power sword or some other type of close combat weapon, it looks really, really good. I think even though this box may be on the lower end, it's almost like it's almost $40 cheaper than the Imperial Knight box in terms of this value you're getting out of any of these boxes. I really like the look of this box. I'm very tempted to add it to my own Space Marine collection. If you like just standing in a building and dumping bolter rounds into your enemies, this box is a great way to do that. And speaking of adding a whole new playstyle to your Space Marine collection all in one purchase, that brings us to the Raven Guard Raven Strike Battle Force. The good old naming things because they had to use Raven twice. I think this box is a little poopy. It's fine. I mean, I just sang the praises of the last box, which was just a whole bunch of Stormbolters in one box. And this box is the exact same thing, but with like all of the sneaky units available to the Space Marines. Not all of them, because you don't get like the or you get the Reavers, but you don't get the Infiltrators and the Incursors. But this box comes with Kayvon Shrike, a Primaris Librarian and Phobos Armor, a squad of Eliminators, a squad of Primaris Reavers, a squad of Primaris Reavers, and 2 Primaris Invictor Tactical Warsuits. And that's fine, it's a theme. It's a Raven Guard, sneaky boy Space Marines. I don't know if anybody really wants Reavers. I mean, they've kind of been really bad ever since they came out for the Space Marines. I think they look pretty cool, but they're guys with swords who aren't that good at sword and stuff. They're sneaky, but they're not as sneaky as the Infiltrators and the Incursors. They have some morale rules, and if you're a Space Wolves players, you can build them as the Hounds of Mordecai, which have some anti-psyker capabilities, which makes them a little bit more interesting to look at, but really they were just the weird, not quite Assault Intercessors that we got 4 or 5 years ago, which have now been replaced by real Assault Intercessors with chainswords. So kind of a weird unit that never really found its niche, and I think we all kind of assumed that it was going to be the sneaky infiltrator version of Space Marines, the assassins of the Space Marines. But then the Games Workshop came out with the Incursors and Infiltrators, which are that. It's the sneaky version of a Space Marine. So the Reavers have always been in kind of a weird spot. So I don't know if too many people are going to be kind of really excited about that inclusion. The Eliminators, solid. Everybody loves the snipers. They're great, very, very good units. And the Librarian and Phobos Armor is interesting. It's the same as the regular Primaris Librarian, but it has some sneaky rules that can make it shine. Another problem, I would say, with this box is the inclusion of 2 Invictor Tactical Warsuits. It's a cool model, and I suspect that everybody who thought it was cool probably already bought it. So if you already have one, do you want 2 more so that you can just fill up your entire elite slot with Invictor Tactical Warsuits? It's just weird. It's kind of weird that there is a gigantic stompy warsuit that is apparently sneaky. But that's Warhammer. I'll allow it. But I don't know. This box is just not jumping out to me as a great valuable addition to a Space Marine player's existing army. If you're starting a Raven Guard army, I think it's probably a pretty good get, especially because it comes with Cave on Shrike. Also, another problem with this box is Shrike is not really an easy model to kit bash into a generic captain, because there's no generic jump pack captain, which is crazy. Games Workshop, it's been like 5 years since the Primaris came out. Make a jump pack captain, make jump pack assault marines. It should have existed from day one, but it somehow still doesn't. And so unless you're playing Raven Guard and you want to bring Shrike, you can't bring a captain with jump pack. So now all of a sudden you've lost the jump pack. And I don't believe Primaris captains can take lightning claws, so all of a sudden you have to swap out the hands. And his feet have like weird robo talons, so you probably should replace the feet too, which kind of means you're just getting a Space Marine body to do what you want with. So where Torgaradon is almost perfect, you just swap one arm. The Kaivon Shrike is, I don't know, he's a little trickier. I guess if you wanted to turn him into a generic Phobos captain, or a captain in Phobos armor, you wouldn't have to do that much swapping, and you can probably use some of those extra bits in the Reaver kit. But if you're really only keeping the torso and legs, it's not going to be that cool of a conversion. So I don't know. This box is not jumping out to me as an amazing Space Marine box. Certainly not as good as the Imperial Fist Bastion Strike Force. I mean, I play Black Templar, which is a successor chapter to the Imperial Fist, so maybe that is also another reason why I'm very biased. But I just love the idea of a bunch of big, heavy guys with giant guns. I'm a big Expendables fan. So maybe that's another reason why I really like the big old gun boxes compared to the sneaky, stabby, flamethrower robot box. I don't know. I think if I had to pick a winner out of this box, it would be Death Guard, because I'm actually going to buy that box, and I can't wait to paint it Mortarion. But yeah, I think in terms of losers, it's got to be the Raven Guard Battleforces, which is too bad, because the Raven Guard are actually a really cool Space Marine chapter. Oh, you know what? I'm also going to say that the Adeptus Mechanicus box sucks. It's just the Combat Patrol Plus. It's the Combat Patrol plus the robots in Belisarius Call. It's just not that interesting. And the only box not to have a named hero, I guess, would be the Chainbreaker Lance, the Imperial Knight box. I don't know that much about the Imperial Knights. Are there actual named, I guess, pilots for the Imperial Knight? Like, is there a pilot similar to like Belisarius Call or Morven Val? Like, are there heroes? There must be. I have the Chaos Knight Codex around here somewhere. Maybe I should give that a read. But I just don't know that much about the Imperial Knights. All 8 of these battle forces are around $320 in value, which is pretty darn good. And man, does that make me wonder what we're gonna be looking at in terms of price from Games Workshop, because something tells me it's not gonna be 210. Is it gonna 220, 230? I feel like Games Workshop could get away with 350, but I don't know if they'll do that. Will they be that mean to me? To me and my wanting Mortarion really badly? I guess I could also just buy Mortarion and then save myself a little bit of money, but yeah, I cannot wait for the final prices to be revealed. Also, remember this Christmas season that it's not necessarily smart to buy these boxes. Certainly not smart to buy these boxes on a whim. If you want to start an army for any faction in Warhammer 40,000 or even for Age of Sigmar, I would suggest buying one box of troops, putting them together and painting them up to actually make sure you really like them. Recently, I put together a Daughters of Cain. The Daughters of Cain box that was for Underworlds. And I've always kind of like, I would like to have a Daughters of Cain army. And I put together those models and painted them, and nope, no more. I'm not painting any more of those. So if I had bought like a Daughters of Cain battle force, I would be out of luck. That would really sting. So I would definitely make sure, test the waters, make sure you actually really like that faction before you just empty your hobby wallet into one of these boxes. And it's also, take it from someone who has a massive pile of shame that getting tons and tons of plastic all in one go is a recipe for you finish half of one squad and then buy more things and work on those instead. So be very cautious. If you are looking at one of these boxes and it has everything you're looking for, then it is absolutely worth picking up. Also, speaking of the Games Workshop Battleforces, I really got to get a move on with Indominus. I was putting together some Space Marine models, getting things kind of ready to go so that I can just sit down and paint them. I've been building a ton of models lately, which is good, but I really just want to paint models because it's fun to build models, but they're not done. You don't get that satisfaction until they're actually done being painted. So I'm trying to get all of my Space Marines to the point where I can just grab them and paint them. They're not like, well, that arm is sitting over in my kitchen cabinet and the head is in a pill bottle that's underneath my basing flocks. Everything is kind of a disaster, but I have almost all of the Space Marines from Indominus still in gray plastic that need to be painted. I've painted a couple, like literally 6, but if I can actually finish Indominus, that would be a huge surge of hobby energy. And it only took like 2.5 years, 3 years. But that's what I've been working on. Ooh, I also maybe was bad and I also maybe bought some more Black Templar models. I'll never ever finish my Space Marines. But I only have 10,000 points, so I mean, it's not that much. You know, it's a little tiny fledgling army, barely playable on the tabletop. I needed those things. Those Space Marines are bringing me shame. But you know what does not bring me shame? That's right, our Patreon. Over there, we have tons of STLs ready to populate your wargaming tables, both miniatures and terrain. This month, we have the Lord Acolyte and a whole bunch of Dawn of War inspired chaos terrain. Also, if you sign up, there's a welcome pack that includes a lot more terrain inspired by Dawn of War, including Space Marine, Imperial Guard, and Eldar stuff, all hosted by Comics, Games, and Things. We make one extra episode of Eon's Battle every single week where we take a look at our viewers' models and give them some helpful critiques on how to improve on their painting, and we have a weekly live Discord hangout where we all hop into a room and chit-chat the night away, usually while I'm working on putting together some Space Marines. We also have merch, link in the description. I'm really excited about these Christmas Battleforces. At least one of them has caught my eye, and I might finally break my 5, 6, 7 year streak of not buying a Christmas Battleforce and finally pick one up. Thanks for watching.